Hello everyone and welcome to Base Watches. As watch enthusiasts, you frequently seek timepieces that not only deliver precision, but also emanate an air of adventure. Dive watches are the epitome of that spirit, including unidirectional rotating bezels, screw-down crowns, and water resistance to survive the depths of the sea while retaining precise timekeeping. For those who don't mind spending money on luxury timepieces, here are 5 of the greatest dive watches to buy. The Steinhart Ocean Vintage Military Divers watch is well known for its vintage-inspired design and high construction quality. Moving on to the watch. The OVM casing is made of stainless steel, with a brushed finish on the top and polished sides. It measures 42 mm without the crown, 50 mm from lug to lug, and 22 mm in width. This makes the OVM larger and bulkier than a true sub, but it remains within the highly comfortable medium-sized watch range. The classically formed case features slab sides and a rather flat profile. The massive triangular lugs and crown guard are the case's most prominent formal features, but neither stands out particularly. The case design is very functional and leaves the visual weight of the watch to the bezel and dial. The watch has a solid steel screw-down case back with small lettering etched around its perimeter with various details. In the center of the case back is a large and amusing etching of either a Trojan soldier or more likely Neptune with a trident riding in a chariot pulled by a giant seahorse. The etching is just a silhouette, but it's a nice touch. You are getting a terrifically built watch with an ETA 2824-25 joules automatic movement, a domed sapphire crystal with double IR internal coating, a good quality oyster-style steel bracelet, and generally superb finishing all around. In conclusion, the Steinhart Ocean Vintage Military is a compelling choice for those who appreciate vintage aesthetics, robust dive watch capabilities, and value for money. Bulova kicks off the reissued Devil Diver collection with a limited edition of 666 pieces and a 41 mm orange version featuring the Swiss Salida movement. This version was followed up with several less expensive colors, including the version we have today. The movements have been downgraded to the Miyota 8 series, while the cases have been enlarged to 44 mm. Although I would have preferred this version to follow the smaller case format, at 44 mm wide it feels smaller than you'd think. The bezel is set well within the edge of the case and the lugs are very compact. Therefore, it will not burden smaller wrists. Plus, it has a lot of personality. If you're looking for the fun of Doxa or Synchron Military, but don't want to spend 4 figures, this Bulova game is a good alternative. The case shape is very similar and uses quite a few of its unique touches. Besides the colors, one of the main attractions of Devil Diver is the implemented 3D indicators. They sit on metal stands, add depth to the disc, and make viewing from an angle enjoyable. Despite being an entry-level movement, the Miyota 821D in the non-Ali Devil Divers category looks decent. The lack of hacking and a slower stroke rate is what you probably get in a vintage diver, plus it helps keep the overall cost low. It offers manual winding and speed dating. The Bulova Devil Diver Oceanographer is a compelling alternative to similarly priced Seikos. The Halios Fairwind is a highly regarded dive watch known for its sleek and functional design. Helios is an independent Canadian watch brand that has gained a reputation for producing well-crafted timepieces, and the Fairwind is a prime example of its commitment to quality. And now, on to the watch. This is an aggressive case. At 38 mm, it's not large. The size is near perfect for my wrist. Rather, the aggression comes from the angularity of the lugs, both in their transition from the case and their edge finishing. In a word, the whole case could be described as sharp, and if I had a second word, I'd go with precise. The surfaces are flat, even at the chamfers, giving an origami-like quality to the geometry. This Fairwind is equipped with the bathyal blue dial and sapphire dyed bezel. I'm no diver, but in my experience, dyed bezels usually have the first 15 minutes marked off and only turn in one direction, neither of which are present here. A bidirectional suits my needs just fine, however, and while some minute hashes would likely be useful from time to time, I'll take the slight inconvenience in favor of the cleaner aesthetic. The Fairwind is offered on a 3-link, brushed steel bracelet, and like the case, it's a study in clean, angular design. Each link is chamfered at its end, creating mobility between the sections and catching a lot of light in the process. As an admittedly biased reviewer, I feel that Fairwind does a top job of living up to the lofty reputation that Helios has created for itself. The 2019 reissue is called the Sub 200, which, as is often the case with Doxa nomenclature, tells you it has a water resistance rating of 200 meters. It measures 42 millimeters across, but its lug-to-lug of only 46 millimeters means it is a lot smaller. the thickness of 13.8 millimeters is not as bad as it sounds. Much of it is down to the box-type sapphire crystal and the protruding case back, which nestles into the wrist. I would say this wears like a rather elegant 40mm diver. This is one of those watches that is quite poorly represented by its cold numbers. My Sub 200 is powered by an ETA 2824-2 automatic movement. I assume Doxa has now switched to a drop-in equivalent, like a Halios Southwest 201. The specs list a Swiss 4 Hz caliber with a 38-hour power reserve. We have a date at 3 o'clock, executed in white to match the white loom of the indices. The Sub 200 is fitted with a sapphire bezel inlay with markings matched to the dial color. It is indeed lumped but extremely faintly. You can have your pick from 7 colors for the dial, which is executed in a nicely textured matte finish. Mine is very obviously yellow, which Doxa refers to as diving star. The watch comes on either a very supple beads of rice bracelet or a color-matching FKM rubber strap. The bracelet is another big plus for me. The beads of rice look suits the style of the watch so well. It is also easily one of the most comfortable bracelets I have ever worn. In conclusion, the Doxa Sub 200 is a classic dive watch that combines a distinctive design with functionality and reliability. More often than not, if you ask a watch collector what the catalyst for their watch obsession was, it was an entry-level Seiko Diver. I won't rehash what has been reported countless times before, but most agree that the charm and value for money can't be understated. Seiko's divers tend to be on the chunky side, but for the 62 MAS, Seiko kept the case diameter to a restrained 40.5 millimeters. The size is slightly larger than the original but is right in the sweet spot for this more grown-up and modern diver. In addition to being more comfortable, it makes the watch more versatile. It's a watch that you could wear to a business meeting on the bracelet, and then throw on a rubber strap and take to the gym. As Seikos tend to do, the SBDC 101 wears very well. The curved lugs and contoured case shape make it very comfortable. Its 13.2 millimeters thickness is also respectable for a 200 meters diver. Polished chamfers also mean that the bush sides of the case band reduce the visual thickness of the watch. Luckily, to keep up with the price increases, Seiko has been slowly upgrading its movements. Moving from the 7S series and the original monsters, the 4R series of movements added hacking and hand winding. The 6R15 then added a Sprawn hairspring and other upgrades, increasing the power reserve from 40 to 55 hours and improving the accuracy. In conclusion, the Seiko Prospex SPB 143 is a capable and attractive dive watch that offers a balanced design, high water resistance, reliable movement, and a variety of strap options.